The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Wicked Weed Studio. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and we are ready for a long week of broadcasting as the NFL draft is just 4 days away. You some may argue, oh, it's 3 days. No, we ain't done today.
I got my my typhoid shot, and I've been dying slowly. So this day is not in the books yet because I might not make it through it.
Yeah,
I'm just glad I made it this far because I was going to be really disappointed when I got to the other side. And the last content I put out was on the Miami fucking Dolphins.
Just going to warn everybody, it's probably not a good idea when you inject yourself with strange chemicals that you pour more chemicals on top of it. Drinking after a flu vaccine shot, probably not the best of ideas. And I got to be honest with you, I told him so. But it is what it is.
Hey, you know what I told you?
A little.
That's what I told you.
It's just, I mean, like it'll be a little tender to the touch. But other than that, I'm feeling froggy. So let's jump into it. The NFL draft is coming up Thursday night. April the 29th, we will be live here in the Wicked Weed Studio. We're going to have friends joining us in studio, on Zoom calls, all kinds of stuff. And we're going to have Jeremy's big board up. We've got to rearrange the entire studio here for a whole new look. And it's going to be a lot of work, but like I say, we are always glad that you're along on the ride with us. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to share it with your friends as well. We got all the NFL mock draft videos going out team by team this week. Full 7 rounds. Jeremy went full nerd, and so if whoever your team is, you'll be able to see who we think that they might take in the 7-round mock draft. I will say this, though. My one big knock on the 7-round Jeremy Greene mock draft is your running backs do fall too low for me.
Just wait.
All the running backs falling out of the first round, and you got like Travis Etienne lasting until the second round.
Travis Etienne the first pick in the third round.
He's the first pick in the third round. I don't see that happening, but other than that, it's all good stuff. It's always good stuff here in the Wicked Weed Studio. Again, don't forget, all 3 days of the NFL Draft live starting here Thursday night. Be here Friday night and all day on Saturday.
I may sleep here.
We are going to be around for quite a bit this week. The big rumors going into today are...
I know something that you need to know.
All about who's going to go where. Decisions. Oh, there's so many decisions to make. And, of course, we all know the draft starts at 3 with the San Francisco 49ers. And the reports came out over the weekend that they are settled between 2 quarterbacks, Mac Jones and Trey Lance.
Well, I just so happen to know something that you need to know. Kyle Shanahan wants Mac Jones. John Lynch desperately wants Trey Lance. This is going to be a battle of who actually makes decisions in San Francisco. And we will know in 3 days because I have it on very good authority. I found the story and then I vetted it. John Lynch wants Trey Lance. If John Lynch, who is the hand-picked GM of Kyle Shanahan, if he is going to get what he wants, Trey Lance is the pick at 3, just like I've been telling you for 3 months. The loudest that bell has ever been.
I think Kyle Shanahan can win that fight, though.
I don't, because I think John Lynch will convince him that he's right.
Well, I mean, that is a possibility. But there again, John Lynch has continually said, okay, maybe I'm starting to convince myself as I roll this around in my head that John Lynch has said that Jimmy G is a part of the future. And that's the way you do that. If you take Trey Lance with the number 3 pick, you got to keep Jimmy Garoppolo in town, in my opinion. With Jimmy Garoppolo on this team, you could be a Super Bowl contender. Not saying Trey Lance is not going to be good in the NFL. What I'm saying is I'm not trusting that rookie year. I'm not trusting a rookie to get us to the Super Bowl. And I think we're right on the doorstep. Had we not had all the injuries last year, the San Francisco 49ers, I believe, would have been dead in the hunt again for the Super Bowl. So I think you might be right, although Kyle Shanahan is the architect of this offense, and he has a lot of sway in that building. And if he decides that Mac Jones is the guy the best suited to his offense, I also think he's kind of in the same boat. Either way you go in this pick, you don't have to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Either way you go, you know this pick's not Justin Fields. That's who it's not. It's not. And you know what that tells me? That tells me that 3 teams that are quarterback desperate have looked at Justin Fields and gone, no, we're good. Was never considered at 1, was never considered at 2, was never considered at 3. But they sent Kyle Shanahan to his pro day. Yeah, they sent him to Kellen Mond's too. You think they were taking him? Yeah, I didn't think so. It's called due diligence. It's what we all do. And everybody that's done due diligence on Justin Fields is going, no, I'm good.
But I guess it all boils down to what you feel about this quarterback class. Do you think that there's a possibility that there could be 4 good starters come out of this class? And the answer historically would be no.
Roy asked me a question. I'm super glad that Roy asked this question. I told you last week San Francisco's not notorious for leaks, right? Mm-hmm. Ask yourself the question that I have asked 1,000 times between our 2 shows.
Who wants you to know this?
When something comes out, who wants you to know this? And the answer is super simple. It's John Lynch. John Lynch wants it on record. If you take Mac Jones, you spent 3 picks to get up there to get Mac Jones. Mm-hmm. I need it to be very well known that I said no. You did this, not me. This is Kyle Shanahan. If this is not Trey Lance, I did not do this. My job and my reputation is on the line here because we made this move, and I want it known that I wanted Trey Lance. That's where that came from. The Mac Jones thing, yeah, I've always thought that was bullshit. But there were parts of it that didn't make any sense to me. The thing that didn't make sense was, okay, why in the hell? San Francisco leaks nothing. Why does everyone know they're taking Mac Jones? Well, it's because somebody might have been, hey, I like old Mac. People close to Kyle Shanahan, who, by the way, now there are staffs on 3 teams that are close to Kyle Shanahan, not going to be as airtight as it used to be.
Right.
Because you tell your buddy something, drinking a couple beers, I'm real big on Mac Jones. And then we know. And why does this leak come out on Monday? Because John Lynch is not sold on Mac Jones. John Lynch wants it very well known. If that's who we take, not on me.
If I'm making the decision, it's Trey Lance.
Me too. And it's been that way the whole time.
Of what I've seen between the 2 quarterbacks, I think Trey Lance has the highest ceiling and Mac Jones has the highest floor. The same thing that I think we've been saying over the last couple of months. There's no doubting that Mac Jones can get the ball down the field. What he did at Alabama was fantastic. I think Kyle Shanahan's got a great argument here. If he is a guy that can come in, I can plug him into my scheme, and I can use him. You know, he's a great quarterback at timing the ball to his wide receivers, and that's what Kyle Shanahan's offense is all about. So I can see that. On the other hand, I'm looking at this in John Lynch's perspective of, you know, I can see Trey Lance. Mac Jones to me is, what, a three-year project? If it doesn't work in 3 years, then you're out. Trey Lance, on the other hand, I'll have a little bit more leash with him because of the inexperience at quarterback, because he only started 17 games at FCS level football. There's not a fan with a brain in my fan base that's going to come in and go, we need to start Trey Lance immediately. I can see the argument for both. I would like to see this go John Lynch's way because I think
it will.
Trey Lance can be
it
phenomenal.
will, by the way. I think it will. Because here's the thing. Kyle Shanahan's one of the safest coaches in the NFL.
Yep.
And what John Lynch just did, whether it was intentional or not, I can't tell you that John Lynch was sitting in his office going, I'll show him and his little dog too. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is now the information is out. And I'm not going to be the only person that's going to say this today. I just found this out. Literally not 4 minutes before we went on air, and I sent a text and I got a thumbs up back, which means that's our little lingo for ta-da. You have a point. That is what that means. So I would wager I'm not going to be the only one that says this. And you know what that does? And Roy said this is the end of the honeymoon phase. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. This could just be, hey, watch the reaction to this. Hey, watch. You know, people have been calling us stupid for a month because we gave all this up to get Mac Jones. Watch how they don't do that with Trey Lance because he's the unknown. Trey Lance is the unknown in this draft. The ceiling is stupidly high. The floor is pretty low. As there have been some inaccurate problems. The problem is, and I got this from a scout 2 weeks ago, he was throwing to guys like me. His receivers, in large part, are just average dudes. This is not a team that throws the ball a crazy amount. They lucked into Trey Lance, just like they lucked into Carson Wentz. They recruit really well, but that's not what they do. So they've had 2 really high-end quarterbacks. They didn't have any receivers. Name me a North Dakota State wide receiver in the NFL.
Can't.
There you go. You want me to tell you why?
There's not one. I think there's one in this draft class. I think it was
South Dakota State.
There's a South Dakota State. Okay. All right. I was trying to think. No, I mean, Trey Lance hasn't had the weapons. I get it. I understand that. He's a project, though, and I think everybody understands that he's a project.
He is. The good thing is that you've got a Jimmy Garoppolo that gives you a great chance to win now, and the only reason you would have to play Trey Lance this year is if Jimmy gets hurt, and you have a ready-made excuse if it doesn't go well this year. Well, Jimmy got hurt. We didn't expect him to play. We just wanted him on the roster. He was supposed to learn from Jimmy. It all makes entirely too much sense. Entirely too much sense. I never understood how you were going to have Mac Jones and Jimmy Garoppolo on the same roster. Didn't make any sense to me. They're the same guy.
Right.
Trey Lance is not the same guy.
And here's the thing. If you're picking a quarterback for the future, you pick for the ceiling, not for the floor. I think that's obvious. If I've got a high floor quarterback, that's great. Bring him in. He has to start immediately, and that can be my basis for that argument. If you're picking for next year or 2 years down the road, Trey Lance to me is the perfect scenario. You go for the higher ceiling in this scenario, and I'm with John Lynch on this side. In Vegas, the odds have changed for who's going to end up being this pick. Last week, remember, after the Justin Fields Pro Day, it flipped, and Justin Fields went from number 2 to number 1. Now it's gone back to Mac Jones, and Justin Fields has fallen.
Tumbled. If you're sitting on a Justin Fields plus 150 ticket, you can set that bitch on fire. I'm sitting on one with Trey Lance at plus 800. What up? That's why you should listen to me more often. Stop telling me how stupid I am. Just go with it.
Trey Lance, by the way, still plus 450.
Yeah, you know what plus 450 is not?
Plus 800. Yeah. Absolutely. But now, like I say, Mac Jones is now the betting favorite. The money keeps going back and forth. It seems that most of the money and the majority of the money and the majority of the bets are all on Mac Jones now because the firestorm has swept through. Everybody seems convinced that it's Mac Jones. And I'm not one of them. I'm actually one of these people that believes Mac Jones is going to fall pretty far in this draft.
I have him at 15 to New England in my mock draft. In my 7-round mock draft spectacular.
And I think that's the truth. I don't think anybody's going to be trading up to get Mac Jones.
Here's what we do this every year. Teams start putting out bullshit and we start buying it. And that's what happened. San Francisco traded up and look at Mac Jones. He fits his offense so nicely. Yeah, and his ceiling is about right here.
Right.
Trey Lance's is like way up here. Justin Fields is like a little bit higher than Mac Jones. Now, something that I did the legwork on over the weekend and something that I have to get out there because I did this earlier and everyone in the room started laughing. We can now definitively say that at least the top 3 teams in this draft have Justin Fields no higher than 4, correct?
Yes.
I don't think it's even debatable.
Yes, I agree.
Would you like to hear who the last 24th quarterbacks in a draft were?
Oh, yeah.
So what this means is that 3 teams that needed a quarterback looked at you and went, no, we're good. Yeah, here's who they've been in order. Jordan Love, Drew Lock, Josh Rosen, Deshaun Kaiser, Christian Hackenberg, Sean Mannion, Derek Carr, Matt Barkley, Brandon Whedon, Christian Ponder, Colt McCoy, Pat White, Chad Henne, John Beck, Kellen Clemens, Charlie Fry, J.P. Lozman, Rex Grossman, Josh McCown, Marquez Tuiasosopo, T. Martin.
Now
That's the last 20 fourth quarterbacks in the draft.
You want to talk about an NFL bag of dicks?
Yeah,
Holy hell.
that is bad.
Jesus. I mean, there's only one purity pubic hair in that bunch, and that's Derek Carr.
If you added the best quality of all 20 quarterbacks that I just said to one quarterback, you might have a legitimate starting quarterback in the NFL. Maybe.
Jeez.
So all these people that have said, you're an idiot, you're a hater on Justin Fields. You know what the historical, no doubt, whoever's 4, it's not very good.
No.
He's not very good. Derek Carr is the one that I look at and go, we might have gotten that wrong. You know who went in front of him? Blake Bortles and Johnny Manziel.
Glad we didn't do that one.
Yeah, maybe, just maybe, you got that one wrong. Maybe it's the fact that it was the Browns and the Jaguars picking in front of him. Maybe that's why it happened.
But on the other side of this, can you not also make the argument that there's never been a class that has had this many highly touted quarterbacks in it in the last 20 years?
No, I can't make that argument. You know why? Because 3 went in the top 6 last year. Year before that, 3 went in the top 15. Year before that, 4 went in the top 10. It's not a differently talented quarterback class. The best quarterback class I've ever evaluated was 3 years ago. Baker, Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson. That's the best grade I've ever given to a quarterback class 3 years down the road. So, no, and do I think this is better? No. I mean, let's be really honest about this. Trevor Lawrence is better than any of the guys that I just said.
Yes.
Josh Allen, maybe.
Yes.
All right, so let's attach Josh Allen to Trevor Lawrence. Let's say Zach Wilson let's say he's Baker Mayfield good. Let's say Trey Lance is Lamar Jackson good.
Okay.
Who's Josh Rosen? You know, that's the 5th guy. We only Justin Fields. I mean, that's who I would say it is. And then you get an average guy in
Davis Mills.
In Sam Darnold. I actually think it's more likely that Baker Mayfield is Mac Jones and Zach Wilson winds up being Sam Darnold. That hurt to say out loud.
Oh, no.
That hurt to think about.
Don't put that evil on him already.
I still love Sam.
Oh, my God.
I still love Sam.
So that means in 3 years he'll be playing for another team.
No.
It's a good.
No, Sam Darnold got drafted into a shitty situation. The GM got fired 5 minutes after he took him.
Right.
You know, that's kind of that's not a common problem. But no, to say this draft class is crazy deep at quarterback compared to other things we've seen, no, it's really not. I mean, it's good. This is a high-end draft class, one of the probably 3 highest I've ever graded. But I'm going to be honest with you. If you told me Justin Fields wasn't in the NFL 4 years from now, I wouldn't be shocked. Because there's been one consistent of every team that I've talked to on how they feel about Justin Fields.
Okay.
He could be great. You could burn him out of the league in no time. Because if he believes in his arm as much in the NFL as he did in college, he'll throw 1 billion interceptions. You know how many other guys I've ever had that said to me about?
1.
Guess who? Ring the bell. Jameis Winston is the only other person I've ever heard. He trusts his arm entirely too much.
Okay.
And he got bailed out because the talent he played with was just otherworldly good.
Absolutely.
Who's that sound like? What does that sound strikingly like? Justin Fields. And he's going to wind up. There is one scenario, and I'm going to keep saying this because I think it's going to happen. There's one scenario that I really like Justin Fields, and it ain't New England. It's the Denver friggin' Broncos. You telling me he can throw to Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton and Noah Fant and have that running game behind him? Okay, he's got a shot. With one of the best left tackles in the league, Garrett Bowles. God, that felt weird to say out loud.
At least he's fixed his flag issues.
Yeah. That gives him a shot. If he goes to New England, bad. Bad. Because he has to play immediately. He has to play immediately, I think, in Denver. But at least he has good weapons around him. In New England, he's going to be asked to do a lot. The quarterback gets asked to do a ton. That's the reason Cam Newton was so bad in it. Because whether you like him or not, he ain't real bright. There's always been a knock on him. Go back and look. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. He's not a crazy smart quarterback. The reason Tom Brady worked in New England, because he is. also the reason that I think Mac Jones could work so well in New England because he is otherworldly smart too. So is Trey Lance. I would love Trey Lance in New England.
It's not going to happen.
No.
He's not going to
No,
get
he's
there.
going to San Francisco, just like I just said.
Right. Denver getting Justin Fields, you think, though, could work.
100%.
I like that. I mean, I would like him throwing to Jerry Jeudy. Because the deep ball down the middle is one of the best things that he does, in my opinion.
Do you know how many screen passes Justin Fields threw last year total?
17.
It was like, what was it, 20. It was 20. I had not seen that stat. Brian had to bring it to my attention. That's just over 2 a game. That's not how the league works. And you know why you don't do that when you have guys like Chris Olave and Trey Sermon? Because you can't. If you could, you would. But you can't, so you shan't. I want that on a shirt.
You could, but you...
If you could, you would, but you can't, so you shan't.
Ah, gotcha. I think I would like Justin Fields being there. If you ask me now to put the bust tag on somebody, I'm actually starting to lean towards Trey Lance.
I'm not. I'm still on Justin Fields.
Just because there's so many unanswered questions about him, and I think Justin Fields can be a solid quarterback in this league.
All right, so we've been doing this together for 4 years.
Yes.
How many quarterbacks have I ever said before they were drafted they'd be a bust?
Lamar Jackson.
Nope. I did not say that. I said I don't think Lamar Jackson's a quarterback, and I still kind of don't. He's a running back and plays quarterback. And that's fine. You've catered a whole offense. I never thought a team would do that.
Right.
Baltimore did. All right, I was wrong. I'll give you that. I was wrong about Lamar Jackson. I've said bust about one quarterback.
Baker Mayfield.
Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen.
I never said Baker would be a bust. I said he wasn't worthy of being the number 1 pick, and I still believe that completely. There's one guy that I looked at and went, whoa, you fucked that up bad.
Right.
And it was Josh Rosen. And then he got on the podium and was like, I'm going to make 9 teams regret they didn't take me. You know how many of those teams regretted it for a 1/10 of a second?
None of them.
0. Not one. And that's how I feel teams. I have this funny feeling that Justin Fields is going to take that same mantra. Not because I think he's a jerk like Josh Rosen. I think he's going to try to play with that chip on his shoulder, and it makes me hate him even more. Because what is my knock on him? I just said it. He trusts his arm too much. So now he has a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to try to be F-U Justin Fields, the same way that Aaron Rodgers did. Well, I got news for you. He ain't got an Aaron Rodgers arm. Period.
The first year could be real horrible. The first year could be real bad for Justin Fields.
And here's the thing.
Because
you
I don't trust
get
his
more
coaching.
than that. You don't.
If he ends up with Denver, I don't trust his coaching. That's just me.
You're talking about Fangio, I think, more than the offense.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to go well.
Yeah. Do you know who the offensive coordinator of the Broncos is?
Who's that?
Pat Shurmur.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty smart guy.
Pat Shurmur.
Yeah, he's a pretty smart guy.
Him. Yeah, he's a fine coordinator. He's a pretty awful
I'm not
head
asking
coach.
him to be the damn head coach.
Pretty awful head coach.
Yeah. Pretty sharp guy. Has a kid that played in the NFL for quite some time. Who do you think tutored him? And he's about as athletic as a wet fart. So the fact he got that kid in the NFL is shocking.
Right. I have said since the end of last year that I thought Vic Fangio should be out in Denver, and I'm still going to stick by that. So I have no real hope for this team until that happens, which I think is going to happen this year.
Yep.
When it doesn't go their way and they don't end up even threatening for the playoffs, despite what they do at the number 9 pick, or whether or not they trade up, I don't feel that they have to trade up right now.
Denver?
Yeah.
They do.
You think so?
They do, because there's too many teams that are calling about trading down. I mean, Miami's calling. Detroit's calling. All
Carolina's
of these teams.
calling.
No, Carolina's going to dare somebody to let Penny Sewell follow them. Now, if Penny Sewell's not on the board, absolutely. We have the pick right in front of Denver. They're going to take a quarterback if there's one sitting there. So, yeah, Carolina could be the drop dead spot, but we won't know that. If Penny Sewell's on the board, they're going to take him and run.
Right.
They might do the same thing with Rashawn Slater. I just don't think they should.
So the San Francisco picks up between 2 guys, between Mac Jones and Trey Lance. Kyle Shanahan wants Mac Jones. John Lynch wants Trey Lance. Could this be a decision that, ends up putting a fracture in that relationship for the future? I'm going to say no. I don't know, and I wouldn't bet on it, because I think they're still in good shape, regardless of what happens with this pick. Then you got the Atlanta Falcons, and I heard Diana Rossini this morning, who's a reporter that I absolutely trust, saying that some of her sources are telling her that there is one quarterback that the Atlanta Falcons would go after.
Yeah, and his name's Zach Wilson.
At 4.
I could have told you that a month ago. This is not news. If Zach Wilson had fallen to 4, Atlanta would have taken him. There was more than one team that felt that way.
Okay.
You notice that a name hasn't been attached to it?
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason.
Because they know he's gone.
Yeah, because they can say things like that, and it doesn't burn the source. Because you can tell Diana Rossini, she goes out there, and she's basically doing your bidding for you. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. There's no shot of that quarterback falling to them. I mean, really think about Arthur Smith. All right, so Arthur Smith has wanted a quarterback, or has never wanted a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Terry Fontenot, the new GM, wanted a quarterback. Okay, he wanted the right one. Justin Fields ain't the right one. Mm-hmm. He's not. He's not as good a play-action passer as Ryan Tannehill is, and that offense is predicated on it. Mac Jones is not either. I mean, he's fine, but he's not what you want. And they're stuck with Matt Ryan. Now, with the Falcons, you also notice that a lot came out about the Falcons in the last 24 hours.
It did. Apparently, they're now looking to move on from Julio.
They're taking calls on Julio. There's a difference. If somebody wanted to do something stupid, yeah, they'd probably move on from Julio Jones. Because they're going to have Kyle Pitts and they're going to have Calvin Ridley. Mm-hmm. So if you could get an asset for Julio Jones, you can't.
Nothing.
I'm not saying you couldn't get, I mean, you get Pig. It's not going to be a good pick.
A 3?
Probably.
Okay.
That's probably what it would be. I don't see him being injury-prone, highly paid. Mm-hmm. Bonus money does stay with Atlanta, so that would lessen the blow a little bit, but I don't think you're signing up. I mean, I just can't think of a team that's going to look at Julio Jones and go, yes, that's the one piece we're missing.
Right.
A guy that's been just constantly hurt.
Mm-hmm. He's just not reliable. Although, I mean, he continues to put up numbers. You know, we say he's not reliable, but he hadn't missed that many games.
No, but he's played hurting a lot. And I honestly think it hurts them more than it helps them.
I mean, he only played 9 games this season, but, I mean, in the last 4 years before that, he only missed 3 games.
Yeah.
But
he played hurt about 10
He was limited.
More.
I get it. But he's a constant threat for 1,000 yards every year. Could have had way many more touchdowns with that Atlanta Falcons team. That's long been a thing that I've never understood.
He's also 32 years old. Mm-hmm. And receivers and running backs age like dairy products.
Absolutely.
Well, we all know that. That's not news to anybody.
If you can recoup something for him, you got to ask yourself, is that worth it? Is it worth it to save, what did you say this morning, $15 million? They could save if they moved on?
It would lessen the hit $15 million over 2 years.
Okay. So you lessen your cap hit, and you get a young player that you might be able to, I mean, hell, you can use that 3rd-round pick if you get one this year on another wide receiver. It's a very deep wide receiver class. You know, there's none built like Julio Jones, obviously.
It wouldn't be in this draft. He would be a post-June 1 deal if he was traded at all. I don't buy it. I think that's all a smokescreen. I think that's just Atlanta's, Terry Fontenot's way of saying, we're open for business. Mm-hmm. You want up to 4, Jerry Jones, you crazy motherfucker, you get up here and get Kyle Pitts. But you better come hard, because have you noticed that every report coming out of Atlanta, they've made it very well known that they will trade for it, but you're going to have to overpay for it.
Yes.
Without saying it in as many words, they've basically said, yeah, you come up here and get it. But you're going to overpay like hell. Like hell.
I think everybody should expect that.
Jarrah?
You should expect, if you're going to get up there to get a generational player, because there's going to be 2 of them there for you to choose at 4, you're going to have to overpay for that.
You know Jerry Jones at this point is like the senile guy in the old folks' home looking at Stephen going, well, they said I could. Let me do it. Let me do it. I still have my mental faculties, Stephen.
No, Dad.
No.
No, Dad. Sit back.
Jarrett, your phone hadn't been plugged in 4 fucking years and you hadn't noticed it.
Enjoy your martini on your yacht, Dad, and
enjoy your boat. Pet your fluffy white cat, you crazy senile kid.
All right, so the report coming out from Diana Rossini is true. There is a quarterback. It's just not. There's not going to be the quarterback that they want there. It's Zach Wilson. You're saying.
Zach Wilson's the one that they would have taken at 4. They're not taking any other quarterback at 4. It's Kyle Pitts at 4, or they trade out.
Yeah.
And I think if they trade out, they're trading out to a team that wants Kyle Pitts too. Mm-hmm. I cannot see a team giving up the level of compensation that they're going to need to get up to 4. In spite of how we all feel about Kyle Pitts, I do not see any team coming off what it would require. I mean, just for shits and giggles. The Dallas Cowboys, if they wanted to get from 10 to 4, it would cost them, the difference in those picks is about 5. It cost them their 1 and their 2. So they'd have to give up, and it would actually cost them another pick too.
Yeah.
They'd have to give up 10, 44, and roughly, they don't have a 4. Uh-oh, we got a problem, Jarrah. You have to give up all 3 of your first 2-day picks.
You give up a 3 next year.
No, those are not looked at swimmingly. A lot of teams don't look at next. Speaking of that, I will be doing a draft value video before the draft. I don't know when because it's getting close.
We got a lot to do.
We have a lot of shit to do. I might just sleep here. By Thursday, I might look like Bill Belichick. Just grungy and wearing a hoodie that I cut the sleeves off of, and I'm wearing it as a bandana now. Peeing in a jug for some reason. Don't know why. Bathroom on the other side of that door. Just wanted to.
And then you're going to show up here in your meth man outfit.
Yeah.
For draft night.
100%.
Oh, my God.
Belt buckle. Gold chain. Oh, wait do you see what's planned for this sweet mullet? Oh, God. It's
you're going to brown up the front of your teeth as well. You just look like you just crawled right out of the trailer park prom.
Yeah. Give me a big old chew of tobacco. Give me a skull rig in the back.
It's going to be god-awful.
Oh, and I'll do it, too.
It's all 3 days.
I wouldn't put that shit in my mouth for $100. But, by God, I'll put the can in my back pocket.
All 3 days of the NFL Draft live here in the Sportsocracy with me and him and all of the gang and all our friends as well. Again, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Let them know we're going to be live as well, and it's going to be all of our instant reactions for all 3 days of the draft, Thursday night, Friday night, and all day on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be aggressive. Tell your friends, share the videos. We want as many people here as we can physically get. We have, I had somebody send me a really nice email over the weekend of how much they appreciated with, all the work. And that, in all honesty, it made yesterday completely worth it. Because I, honest to God, thought I was going to die. I got my second vaccination shot, and that all that shit they tell you, if it can go sideways, I'm living proof it can go sideways. Mm-hmm. Now him, he felt great, and he kept sending me text messages. I feel fine. Yeah.
I was trying to make you feel better.
What, that you felt good? How is that supposed to make me?
I gave him the one downside. My arm was a little sore. Makes you feel any better. I realized that you're, puking up chemo drugs over here.
Yeah, it was bad. It wasn't good. And I'm still not 100% here. But I am championing through this because it is draft.
Again, if you missed the beginning of the show, PSA is don't get a whole bunch of chemicals injected into your body and then go drinking the night after. Don't do that.
Bad call.
Bad call.
French fry when you're supposed to pizza. You're going to have a bad time.
At number 5 in the first round of the NFL Draft, we got the Cincinnati Bengals.
It's Jamar Chase. Has been, will be, and it's not going to stop.
You don't think the public pressure is going to work through and they're going to feel the need
they don't care.
To actually give Joe Burrow a left tackle?
They don't care. The Cincinnati Bengals have never cared. Mm-hmm. They're one of the wild cards in the NFL. They just do not give a shit.
They're gonna have to settle for one at the top of the second round, and they seem fine with doing that. Yeah, if they do, they're obviously not going to get a generational guy like Penny Sewell at the top of the second round. Yeah, but can they get a good enough guy to protect Joe Burrow for several years in this league? Whether it be
can you get a tackle like
Jamie
that? They
Eichenberg
actually think they're fine with Riley Reef. I will not be shocked if they take Alex Leatherwood, the tackle out of Cincinnati, because they are one of the teams that thinks he can play tackle.
Okay.
And he has moved up boards.
At Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gone up boards a little bit. I'm not as sold on him as a lot of other people are, but they seem to be. So
I like busting on Mike Tannenbaum, but sometimes when he is being outlandish, he says some smart things. And he recently said that he believes that if the Cincinnati Bengals pass on Penei Sewell that they need to be disbanded and revoked from the NFL.
Yeah, not even allowed to play.
Yeah.
Just no, Mike
Just
Brown, you crazy
kick 'em
bastard.
out.
How do we have this many crazy lunatic owners in the NFL?
Just relegate them. Let's do relegation like
how does this happen? There's like 5 owners in the NFL that are just stark raving lunatics. Mm-hmm. Mike Brown is one. Jarrah, I think we have to consider
when
Jarrah.
you own the team, you can do whatever the hell you
Daniel
want.
Snyder,
Yeah.
lunatic. That's okay. I've got 3. Shad Khan. Anybody that has a moustache. Anybody with a moustache like that, you're a lunatic.
You know he's evil.
And then you got Arthur Blank that looks like Cruella DeVille's husband. So
I'm starting to ask
I think he's going to show up to the draft party in a jacket made of puppies.
Starting to ask questions about the Mara family. The old Giants. The old Giants. We can have that discussion when Brian's in here tomorrow morning, here in the Sportsocracy, live every weekday morning at 9-ish.
9-ish. 9-ish.
Yes, because you never know when nature's going to call. That's my new tagline for that.
When you got to go, you got to go.
You got to go. So Penei Sewell should go at 5. He's not going to go at 5. And then, to me, begins the race to try to get Penei Sewell.
It doesn't, though. It doesn't.
It
got the
should.
Dolphins.
It friggin' should.
You got the Dolphins at 6 that I can't tell you definitively what they're going to do. I have no clue. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to trade down. I really do. But I don't know with who. I have them trading down with Carolina in my mock draft. I have Carolina getting up to 6, just saying, screw it. We'll give up a 3rd-round pick to definitively get our left tackle because they're going to protect Sam. Joe, yeah, they're going to give him a Bowie knife and wish him the best of luck.
Good luck to you, son.
Yeah, they're going to put some deer urine on his boots and give him a machete because that's what he's going to need.
They give him a really sharp one. That's basically what Riley Reef is.
Yeah,
he's the really sharp.
No, he's a butter knife.
Oh,
you
he's
gotta
not that bad.
You got to
Come
be
on.
a bad son of a bitch to kill a tiger with a damn butter knife.
Jesus Christ.
He'd beat one to death with a stick.
They're still banging on this. Could the Carolina Panthers take a quarterback? No, they're not taking a quarterback. And then they're not trading Sam Darnold. Where did this come from?
I'm stupid.
I've seen
They're
3
stupid
articles
people.
now this morning of, it could happen. They're not really sold on Sam Darnold, and they could trade Sam Darnold before the draft. Why the hell would you do that? What, do you think you're going to be able to flip him for a profit?
Because people are stupid. Because people are stupid. And people want to, you know what they did?
Well,
you know what these people did? They did exactly what they're trying to do. They got you to click on it. Now me, I knew what that was about, and I said, fuck you. You shan't get my click, you dick.
Well, they're taking the bait from Scott Fitterer because Scott Fitterer, he's got to leave that little nugget out there, and everybody wants to run with it because they're not sold about Sam Darnold.
And that's solely because you haven't watched the tape. You look at the stats and go, Sam Darnold was so bad, but he was on the worst team in the league. Oh, the Jaguars were worse. Yeah, on purpose. They were starting a quarterback that looked like the fucking Tiger King. They knew as soon as the Jets won a game, hey, look what we can do. Mm-hmm. Stuff.
But Scott Fitterer comes out and says something like, there are several of the quarterback prospects that we're excited about. And everybody just goes down the path of, well, you're sitting there at 8. You could possibly be able to trade up and maybe get Justin Fields or whoever your quarterback of the future is. Your quarterback of the future is Sam Darnold. I know they haven't picked up the 5th-year option, but that is fully the plan in Carolina, in my belief.
Yeah, this is real simple. Carolina will have any quarterback not named Sam Darnold in that lineup week 1 next year. No.
It's not going to happen. And Teddy Bridgewater, I don't know what they're going to have to end up doing.
He's going to probably end up in Denver. I won't be shocked if Denver drafts a quarterback and trades for Teddy Bridgewater. Then Drew Lock ends up in Minnesota. As I said long ago.
I memean, Minnesota does have 17 picks that they could send.
Yeah, I didn't quite realize how many picks Minnesota had until we were going through the 7-round mock draft. It was like, geez, they're picking again? Like, they have 500 picks in this draft?
Well, the problem is they're, 5th round and down. Because I think they've got multiple picks in all of those rounds. I think they've got like 4 in the 5th round and 3 in the 6th and 4 in the 7th.
You know what's funny? Minnesota's loaded 5th round and down, and I'm going to look like eastbound and down. What up?
Oh, dear.
Loaded up and trucking.
He's just not going to stop. The Detroit Lions obviously have all the reports are that they want to trade down from 7.
Yeah, because the guy they want, they shouldn't take at 7, but they may have to.
Micah Parsons?
That's who they want. That's who they get in my mock draft is they trade down to 9. They don't get much, but it makes a lot more sense to take him at 9 than it does at 7.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Jalen Waddle is a guy that I am stone cold confident goes in the top 10, but I ain't got the damnedest of a clue to where. I ain't got that. I mean, I think it's Miami.
Okay.
Every team I've talked to is drunk in love on Jalen Waddle. By the way, he's the number 1 receiver on every team's board except the Bengals.
Really?
Everyone I've talked to, every team in the top 10 has said Jalen Waddle's our number 1. And they, oh God, yeah, Devontae Smith, he's a wispy 166. He might fly away.
But he plays big enough.
I mean, I like Devontae Smith. I think the hate on his weight has gotten too ridiculous. But there are teams that think Jalen Waddle is a really high-end version of Tyreek Hill.
A high-end version.
High-end. They think he's better than Tyreek Hill.
Jeez.
And he's not a train wreck between the ears, which doesn't hurt.
God. You talk about hanging a saddle around somebody's neck.
I've heard that twice. We think he's a better version of Tyreek Hill.
I've heard the comps to Tyreek Hill. I haven't heard better than Tyreek Hill. That seems a little stretchy to me. But there again, I think he's a way better person than Tyreek Hill. So he's already a
he's a way better receiver. Tyreek Hill, I mean, the dirty secret of Tyreek Hill is that he runs about 4 routes.
Yep.
And most of them are go.
Yeah, he's just so damn fast nobody else can catch up.
Jalen Waddle can do all kinds of things. Jalen Waddle's a very talented receiver, and I'm telling you, I told you this when it happened, and you're reading too much into that. When he played the national title game, a lot of teams took notice of that, especially when you got a bunch of guys that they looked at. Well, I don't want to play. I'm just sitting home, wait for the draft.
Yeah, you go down with an injury, break your ankle or foot. Which one was it?
His was a foot injury.
His foot. He broke his foot. I think it was on like October 24th and was able to make that push 3 months later to come back for the national championship game. It's one of the grittiest moments I think we've seen all season long.
Well, I'll go out on a limb. My wife just chimed in and said big words on what I said about Jalen Waddle. I'll go out on a limb. If one of these receivers makes the Hall of Fame, Jalen Waddle. And I'd bet the farm on it. He's my number 1, and it's not even close.
He's not mine, but I like Jamar Chase a lot.
Yeah, you like him entirely too much, and I've told you that for a long time.
You told me the same thing about Justin Jefferson.
How tall is Justin Jefferson? How tall is Justin Jefferson?
6'3"?
Yeah. How tall is Jamar Chase?
6 foot?
At best.
Yeah.
That's probably standing on a stack of Bibles with a pair of high heels on.
I think he's like 6 foot 3/8 or something like that. His pro day.
Yeah. He was wearing him a pair of Louis Vuitton pumps when they went. I watched a shitload of tape on that guy. I ain't never looked at him and going, that's a formidable 6'1".
Right.
No, I look at him and go, you're probably closer to 5'11". Mm-hmm. And you try to play like you're 6'5", and you know what that gets you in the NFL? Killed.
He does. He plays very, very big. He does love to go up and get the ball.
He high points a ball fantastically. The problem is you don't get a lot of Vanderbilts in the NFL.
This is very true.
Justin Jefferson, you know what? He does one thing real, real good. Be 6'3" and be real fast. Mm-hmm. Jamar Chase, he ain't got either one of those.
But small receivers can make an impact
100%.
in this league.
Yeah, not when they have quarterbacks that are running for their fucking lives with a Bowie knife on their hip. That's not a knife.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's a knife.
You're not wrong. There is a wide receiver that they could get later in the draft that, they're going to make the wrong call. You know they're going to make the wrong call.
Patrick Holt just asked me in the comments, % chance that no defensive players picked in the top 10. I'll say 5. Because I think I don't know how far Detroit can fall down, and they want Micah Parsons. I don't see a chance that Dallas doesn't take a corner at 10. Unless they trade up to get Kyle Pitts. And all right, let's say they do. Then Atlanta's at 10, and guess what they're going to take at 10? Patrick Surtain. Or J.C. Horn.
Yeah.
They might have J.C. Horn higher. I don't know.
I still think I could see Carolina taking a corner.
You're wrong.
Really?
100% wrong. There are three outcomes for the Panthers. Penny Sewell, that's A. That's hunky-dunky.
Yep.
Rashawn Slater is probably C. Trade down is probably B. Because I will tell you there's a scenario that somebody takes Penny Sewell in front of them, and they look at Rashawn Slater and go, dude, you're a guard. You're a guard. That's what you are. And they trade down with the Chargers at 13. Because I think the Chargers would come up to get Rashawn Slater.
Well, there's, they've been trying to throw out, or at least there's one guy that's been trying to sway his team to jump up and get Penny Sewell, and that's Justin Herbert. I heard that story over the weekend. Justin
Don't
Herbert
be shocked
said
if they do.
he's been trying to convince the front office to team him up with his left tackle from Oregon, and they sit down at number 13. And is it worth trading another first-round draft pick to get up there?
You don't have to
get up to like 6 to get him.
And now I'm looking.
He can't fall any farther
I'm looking at
than that.
my trade value chart, not the Jimmy Johnson one.
Okay.
It would probably cost you your 2. They'd have to give up a 2, which theirs is 47. Might cost them a 2 and a future 3. But to get your franchise left tackle,
No brainer.
Yeah. And Miami, I can tell you, Miami's not dead sold on anybody in the top 10 except Jamar Chase and Kyle Pitts. When they traded up there, they thought 4 quarterbacks would go in the top 5 or top 4. And they were wrong again.
Detroit taking Micah Parsons at 7 would be an overdraft for me. I went down the path over the weekend of the accusations from Penn State against Micah Parsons and the hazing incidents.
Yeah.
I cannot get away from that, and I can't honestly see a general manager like Brad Holmes saying, we need to take this guy at 7, knowing that kind of stuff is out there. I mean, we're talking like the accusations of sexual assault against other players, and he blames it on I was a 17, 18-year-old kid, and, we'd all do stupid stuff when we're 17, 18 years old, and, now I'm focused on being the best dad I can be because he just had a kid. What do you do as a GM?
Hey, you remember that thing I told you a long time ago that there's things out there about Micah Parsons that you wouldn't like?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I tried to tell you.
Yeah.
And the answers that he's given have been, in large part, exactly what you just said. Trying to just...
Yep. Just trying
That's
to
what
push
I've been
it aside.
told. He didn't say it to me. I'm just telling you what people that have talked to him have said.
Right.
So there have been things about Micah Parsons. Roy asked me in the comments, the Raiders like him. Could they trade up? First of all, I don't see Mike Mayock trading up for a linebacker. He believes in the draft too much. That's how he got this job. I think that I actually have the Raiders trading down in my mock with the Jets. The Jets come up to 17 to take Ali Barrett-Tucker. I would say no. I think Detroit is comfortable. Detroit is a team that has been comfortable with Micah Parsons. And again, these are allegations. I don't know any of this shit. I wasn't there. And I have a long-standing view on these things of I don't know. I'll just tell you it's out there. I cast no aspersions. I cast no judgment. But I don't have to pick any of these players.
Right.
I'll just tell you that that's out there and roll on. I'm not judge, jury, and executioner on anybody.
Absolutely not.
It's just like the Deshaun Watson thing. I don't know. I wasn't there. So the legal process will unfold. That's how I look at it with Micah Parsons. Would it stop me from taking him? I don't know.
At 7, it would.
At 7, it 100% would.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you it's Detroit, and I firmly believe this. If Detroit sits at 7, if Miami doesn't take Jalen Waddle at 6, I think they would take Jalen Waddle at 7 if they get stuck there.
Yep.
I don't see a path they get stuck there.
Yep. And Detroit.
I think there's too many teams that are making it very widely known that they're willing to come up. You said the Chargers could trade up to get Penny Sewell.
Yep.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. They could do that.
And I think 7 has to be your target. 7 has to be be your target. If you don't
I think 6 is your target.
Well,
because the Lions are a wild card, and somebody could come in and give them an extra 6, and Brad Holmes goes, "Yep, we're doing that. Yeah, we're doing that." Because Brad Holmes is a huge proponent of the NFL draft.
Well, I think if anybody's trading up to 6 with Miami, they're not going to get Penny Sewell. And maybe I'm just I think that would be more of a quarterback move.
You're wrong. You don't have to get that high. You might have to get that high on Penny Sewell because I'm still not 100%. And now, granted, everything I've heard said no, they wouldn't do this. But I'm still not dead convinced that Miami wouldn't just take Penny Sewell at 6. I think you'd have to. I don't think you have to blow them away to get them to trade down. But I think if they get stuck there, it would be Penny Sewell. I have them taking Jalen Waddle after a trade down because Carolina jumps up to 6 to get Sewell.
Right.
If you tell me they're stuck at 6, I'm not sure that they can pass up on Penny Sewell.
Right.
I couldn't. I know definitively I couldn't. Because that makes me like 2 of their picks from last year way better because you can play Austin Jackson on the right side and Robert Hunt on the inside.
I think Carolina needs to make the move. Carolina needs to make the move to get Penny Sewell.
I agree.
I don't think you're going to have to give up too much to get up 2 picks.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
You guarantee yourself the tackle of this draft.
Well, here's the thing. This is of all the drafts I've ever done. This is my 10th year doing this. This is the easiest year I've ever had to put players with teams because the players fit into needs with these teams, except Cincinnati with Jamar Chase, which is still stupid, but that's what they're going to do.
Right.
This has been the easiest year to mix and match players to teams. The one hiccup is that Carolina needs a guy that I don't think they can get at 8. I can't fathom that he's going to fall that far.
Well, we think that there is going to be at least another trade in this first round. If none of the ones
just
that
for the
we've
love of
already
God,
speculated.
don't do it before Thursday. Damn it! If I have to do that friggin' mock draft again, Andy Reid, you fat Waffle House eating shit.
Right.
Had to go all the way back and do that all over again.
If none of the ones that we just speculated on happen, we do think there's going to be another one further down in the draft. And it all stems from Friday's trade with the Baltimore Ravens sending Orlando Brown Jr. over to the Kansas City Chiefs in return for their first-round pick this year.
I haven't seen Stephen Tao in the comments, and I've been waiting because he's our resident Ravens fan. I firmly believe, and I got told, so the Orlando Brown trade with the Chiefs happened while we were on air. It broke, and like, we played the intro, oh shit. Well, the opening segment just changed, I hear.
Immediately.
And I got a text, literally no more than had it come out of my mouth of what they traded, and the text basically just said, watch Baltimore trade up to 11 with the Giants.
The Ravens have number 27 and number 31 now in the first round of the draft. And I think that's plenty enough to get anybody interested that's in that window.
And you just remember I said this, watch Baltimore trade up to 11 and take Devontae Smith. They need a receiver. They need a receiver. They have obviously no aversion of having small ones because Marquise Brown is the same size as Devontae Smith. A little bit shorter, but weighs about the same amount.
Right.
I think it's a myth that they believe they have to have nothing but run-blocking wide receivers. I think it's a myth. I look at some of the guys that they've talked to. Yes, they have Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins is actually a better blocker than you think he is.
Okay.
One wide receiver sets, it can be Sammy. And then you've got Hollywood Brown in the slot. You've got Devontae Smith that can catch things over the middle because they don't currently have a guy that does that. And that's me reading tea leaves. It's the way it's mocked in my mock draft. I'm just telling you, somebody that does not tend to be wrong text me and said, watch Baltimore take those 2 ones and trade up to 11.
I think it makes a whole lot of sense because I've always felt like looking at New York at 11, I get you want, we've all talked about an edge rusher going there, them targeting an edge rusher. To me, it feels early at 11 for an edge rusher.
The Giants?
Yes.
Yeah, they want to trade down.
Yeah.
There's no doubt the Giants want to trade down. If you told me that one team in the top 12 definitively trades down, I would bet my house that it's the New York Giants.
But I could very well see them being able to, kick this trade, move down to 27, and they'll have, Kwity Paye is still going to be there.
Kwity Paye's not still going to be there. Kwity Paye goes 21 to the Colts. Kwity Paye will not get past Indianapolis.
Okay.
But you would have the Jason Owas, Zaven Collins could be there.
Yep.
There are a lot of guys. Now, and I will say, if Baltimore sticks at those 2 picks at the back end of the first round, Terrace Marshall and Zaven Collins would be a hell of a haul. And I very easily could see them doing that.
Yeah.
Terrace Marshall is falling. Just let that be known. It's one of the reasons I think Baltimore can trade up.
Okay.
They did a lot of legwork on Terrace Marshall. And now everything I'm hearing is he's going to go in the top half of the second round.
But would it be a straight 2-for-1 deal, or would they be able to get something back for that?
There was
like a 3 or a 4.
No, I can't remember exactly what the trade was, and I don't have it pulled up in front of me. $12.50 for those 2. It's pretty close. They would get like a 4 back.
Okay.
I think Baltimore would have to send them a 4.
I'm in.
To get all the way up there.
Yeah.
Or the other way around. The Giants would have to send them a 4.
The Giants would have to send
Baltimore.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
I think that's how that went.
Okay.
We're putting that video out today, so look for that, and I'll tell you what it was, because currently I don't remember.
I think I'm in at that price.
Because between my my shot that almost killed me and the fact that I've been up since 5, running on a little bit of fumes, a lot of coffee, some of which I am now wearing, poured it in my lap a little bit earlier.
There very well could be a whole lot of movement in the top 15 picks of the NFL draft. And I don't think the New England Patriots are one of them.
I don't either. I think they can sit there and let the draft come to them.
Right.
And that's what Bill does. Bill does not like giving up draft capital. And he's still the guy that makes the calls. At the end of the day, there's nobody. The knock I've always had on Bill Belichick is that every person in that room that could be the sounding board, anybody that he would listen to, they're all gone. One of them is now the GM of the Houston Texans.
Right.
I'm telling you, it ain't going to get better. Bill sitting there just being left to his own devices, it's not going to get better.
And I think if they're left at 15 and there's not a quarterback there, they can go, they can add a piece on the defense, like a Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
I love him.
He could go to New England. I could see him being a good piece for Bill Belichick to use. And then let's wait around to the second round. We wait around to the second round, and I'll take Kyle Trask. Because I don't think I'm missing out on all that much. And if Mac Jones ends up falling to 15, then fine. But if you're telling me there's going to be, a marked difference between those quarterbacks at the next level, we're going to have that conversation for a while. You're going to have to really do some convincing to tell me that there's going to be a huge difference between Mac Jones and Kyle Trask at the next level. If you put them both in that scheme in New England, I think they both do just fine. And so why does Bill Belichick have to make a move?
He doesn't have to.
I don't think he has to.
He doesn't have to. There is no must do anything. So Bill can sit there and let the draft come to him, which it very well may. And now it may, his hand may be forced, because there are a lot of teams that really want you to know they're willing to trade up or down.
The NFL draft comes up this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We will be live right here in the Wicked Weed studio for all 3 days. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you get all of the NFL 7-round mock draft videos, team by team. They're going out hot and heavy over the next few days. We're going to get them out as quick as we can so you can have as much time to consume all of them and prepare yourself for, drinking from the fire hose. That's going to start on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And we're going to be live right here in the Wicked Weed studio for all of it.
This will be the last time you see me before draft day. We'll be putting out the draft videos. I'm obviously in all of those. But I will not be on this show the next 2 days. If you want up to date, I haven't used Twitter very often. Well, I've used it, but it seems to be I use it this week every year, and then I forget about it for 51 weeks. So follow me on Twitter at @JGreenESPN. There is an E on my last name, and yes, it's double E. I'm going to be putting out a lot of stuff. Caleb will be here on Wednesday. Brian will be in with Tank tomorrow. Still going to be tremendous content, tremendous things, but I have a lot to get ready for Thursday. 250 player profiles is a lot, and frankly, I'm saving my energy for Thursday. But I'll be back Thursday, and full speed ahead, all gas, no brake.
Well, since you're not going to be with us here, I want to get your unfiltered take before we leave for this show on what happened yesterday in Major League Baseball.
Oh boy,
we had a no-hitter thrown in Major League Baseball.
No, you didn't.
But it's not going to count as a full no-hitter. Madison Bumgarner throws a 7-inning no-hitter against the Atlanta Braves, and it's not going to be counted in the rule book because baseball.
So let me get this straight. He pitched every pitch.
Yes, he did.
Got out all the batters.
Yes.
No hits.
Yes.
That's a fucking no-hitter! Baseball, this is why you're baseball.
It doesn't count in the rule book, though. It has to go a full-length game.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If he goes 9 innings and it goes into extra innings, do they give him a no-hitter if he gives up 1 in the 10th?
No.
That's stupid!
Why is that stupid?
Because
That's not
9 innings is a full game. Even when a full game is only 7 innings, 9 innings is a full game.
You have to.
This is why you're baseball.
You have to finish out the game. Some no-hitters apparently now are not equal to others in history.
So you're trying to convince fans. They're already not buying tickets at the rate that they used to.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to convince them now that we finally did one thing smart and made doubleheaders 7 innings. But you're literally telling your fan base these aren't real games. They're not real games. They don't count. You can't see a no-hitter. You can't see any of the tremendous things that baseball. They don't happen. They don't exist. These are fictitious games.
It's not that
these are Narnia games. They don't count.
It just didn't meet the criteria.
Well, cool. Then I will pay for my tickets with fucking Monopoly money since these games don't count. So I'll give you fake money. How about that?
The games do count in the record book. It's just like it would be if it rained that day. If it started raining,
but it's not.
It is exactly.
No, it's not because you set out to play 7 innings.
Mm-hmm.
They can't play more. You can only play the amount of innings that they allow you to play.
True.
And so you do this. It's a brilliant. Finally, we don't sit through 97 hours of baseball and a doubleheader on a Sunday when it's 8,000 degrees outside.
Mm-hmm.
So you finally do one thing smart, and then you go, but it's not a no-hitter. No, it's not a thing.
It wouldn't count in the rule book
if
the thunderstorm rolled in the 7th inning and they had to call the game. It would stick. It wouldn't count as a no-hitter.
But they didn't.
They did. Major League Baseball, at the beginning of the season, they said, we are not going to do full games on doubleheader days. So why do we do doubleheaders in baseball? Because of rain. The only thing at this point we're doing is making sure that we get the games in. You have to have 5 innings in to get a game. To get the game to count in the record book.
So what you just said is that 5 innings is a full game. That's what you just said.
In the record book, you can call it after 5.
Stop adding caveats. I don't care about your stupid stats. I don't care about your stupid terms because I'm not calling this a notable achievement, which is baseball. It's baseball's term for it. So you just said that 5 innings is a full game, which means he pitched a full game. They did not have more pitches. Mm-hmm. There were not more batters. Mm-hmm. There was not more shit. Mm-hmm. He got out every batter and allowed no hits. No hitter.
Doesn't count in the record book. It's a mini no-hitter. The mini no-no of Madison Bumgarner will now go into its own category in the record book.
Yeah, it'll go into this category of the average sports fan like me. You know what that category is called? Shit we don't care about.
Can't do it. Not all no-nos are the same, especially if you only went 7 innings.
Because they only allowed you to go 7 fucking innings.
Of course, because they're taking the rain out.
I could deal with it if it was rain.
The rain out.
It's not a rain out. There was no fucking rain.
There was rain the day before. They had the doubleheader.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard somebody say.
No.
There was rain the day before. Well, fuck, it snowed a month ago. We have snowouts now? It's snowing in May.
No, they've already decided at the beginning of the season we're going to do 7-inning back-to-back, and so we can treat these records as they are rainouts.
Good Lord,
that's exactly what we're
stupid. Good God, you watch a sport that's just dumb as fuck. That'd be like the NFL going, we're just going to stop playing after 52 minutes. Just don't want to anymore.
This is one of those things that they're going to come back around to, and they're going to eventually count it. Whoever made this criteria of the 9-inning no-hitter, they're going to come back and say, well, we got to change it.
Yeah, Madison Bumgarner, he threw another one. Did you know that?
What?
I said Madison Bumgarner threw another no-hitter. Did you know that?
When?
I don't know. I just heard it this morning because I didn't know. A no-hitter's a no-hitter in the moment. It's like John Calipari's national titles.
Right.
Or Final Four appearances. They didn't count. Well, that's cool because I watched it. Louisville didn't win a national title, but I think they did, though.
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, they gave them a trophy, and I saw one shining moment, and it happened. But we'll go back and fix it. But nobody's going to give a flying rat's ass.
Right. Those who set the standards.
Just like that's how most people feel about baseball on the whole, because you keep doing dumb shit like this.
Those who set the standards set it at 9 innings or more. Has to be classified for a no-hitter. I'm sure they will change the rules at some point because, yes, it's still going to go down in the record books as a complete game. So it's a complete game that he didn't throw any hits in. How can it be not be a no-hitter?
I want you to think about what you just said.
Yeah.
It's a complete game where he allowed no hits.
Yep.
But it's not a no-hitter.
Yep.
It's shit like that is the reason that baseball people that sit around and watch 162 games, I want to research you. I think we should study you because I do not understand you in the least. How you can get behind a sport that is this mind-bogglingly stupid. It'd be like the NBA just going, yeah, you know what, tonight, no shot clock. Fuck it. Don't want to.
We're only going to play
just
3
dribble
quarters.
around for 6 minutes at a time. Don't care. It's fine. Fine. Have a DH in one league, you don't have one in the other.
Uh-huh.
I've always said that'd be like the NFL saying, it's fine, but the kicker has to throw every 10th pass.
Right.
You throw as many passes you want to, but the kicker has to throw the 10th.
You think about it in this scenario. Do you think that if, let's say the scenario was changed and Ronald Acuna Jr. had hit 4 home runs in a 7-inning game, do you think that wouldn't go down in the record books as a 4 home run game? Of course it would.
Baseball would probably take one of them away, give them to the other team, just be fair.
Of course it would. It'd still go down as that. So why can't we consider Madison Bumgarner's no-hitter an actual no-hitter?
Wait, did I just convince you of this?
No. I just like arguing with you. So
you're not supposed to tell them that.
I'm sorry. There's not a sane person that can look at this and go, yeah, that makes sense. It's a complete game, but it's not a no-hitter? Of course not.
Yeah, all right, since we're behind this curtain, for those of you that text me and go, why are his takes so stupid? Because sometimes they're not real.
Sometimes it's all about the fight, and I can't wait to fight with you for 3 damn days for the NFL Draft. We're going to be live here in the Wicked Weed studio for all of the NFL Draft. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to share it as well out to your friends. Let them know all of your draft prep is available in the Sportsocracy. 7-round NFL mock drafts, team by team, going out hot and heavy over the next few days. We will get to your team, so be sure to subscribe.
Today we got the Dolphins. Oh, wait, we already did the Dolphins. Today we got the Falcons and the Bengals and the Panthers and...
I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. We'll be with you this afternoon on ESPN Asheville. Check us out everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. The Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene. You can hear it live or on demand. Of course, take it with you everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. We are in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. We'll see you next time.